Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today, I want to take some time to talk about fear, how I've been dealing with it through the last year or so in pandemic times, and how I took some of those steps that I used to deal with fear in order to go to Brooklyn, take the subway, and take the coronavirus vaccine. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Alex Montes, and I am the VP of Growth Marketing at ToothBuddy. I am also currently exploring topics around emotional intelligence, the kind of skills that can help you succeed in both your life and your career, but most importantly, as a human being. Now, to start the story, since the beginning of the pandemic, all of us have been having to get used to isolation. Many of us, at least a great majority, have also gotten used to working in a different way, being at home a little bit more often, and it has been a great shift for all of us. And I know for me, as somebody who's asthmatic, it has been extremely difficult. I think that a lot of the little risks that other people take, whether that is going to the store or even doing inside dining, are things that I have largely avoided. And if I've done it through the minimum, haven't seen family, and things that all of us are familiar with. The issue is that on top of asthma, I am also an extrovert. I get my energy from being around other people. So definitely coronavirus wasn't something that I was ready for. So the toll that it has taken on me has been, great to say the least. But I remember that at the very beginning of the pandemic, as all of us were getting used to it, I got a huge asthma attack that took me out for 2 weeks. I was literally, in my bed. I was barely able to breathe. I was barely able to speak. And again, as an extrovert, that was extremely difficult. I decided at that time that I needed to come back and use some of the habits that I've built, come back to my routine as much as possible, even in a modified manner. And, went back to some of the things that I've learned through either learning about emotional intelligence or being a Buddhist. So whether that was meditation, whether that was journaling, those are things that, that made me feel real secure. And, those things were really comforting to me. When the vaccine got announced last year, I was glad to hear that people with underlying conditions were going to be given some sort of priority. So I know that for me, after people that were 65 years and older, the next step were to vaccinate people that have some sort of underlying disease, such as I have. While that provided great relief, it also provided loss of nervous energy for me. What would happen if I were to get some sort of allergic reaction? I am allergic to aspirin, I'm allergic to some sort of foods. And when I looked at the data, I saw that while 95% of people or even more were able to get this vaccine successfully, for people that had some sort of allergy had a slightly higher probability or possibility of getting some sort of reaction. Because of that, at first, I was a little bit conflicted. I was a little bit fearful about taking this vaccine. The stakes are high. After much thought, I decided that it was impossible for me not to take this opportunity. I have to go forward and get this vaccine. That's what I'm going to talk about right now. The first thing that I did was really maintain my routine. Really, the thing that affected a lot of us was the fact that we got out of our usual routine. Whether that is your commute to work, whether that is the people that you saw, I think that having a routine is something really important because it allows us to have a measure of control. In the days leading up to the vaccine, and while I was feeling fearful, while I was feeling uncomfortable, for me it was important to keep my meditation schedule. For me it was important to drink the same coffee that I drank every day, including the day off when I was going to take the vaccine, because that way I didn't feel like things were completely out of my control, and the things that I could control, I did. The second thing that I felt was really important was thinking about the probabilities and really thinking through from a mathematical standpoint, what were the odds that something bad could happen to me? As we looked into the ratio of people that have a bad reaction from taking any of these vaccines, it looks like less than 5% of people get a bad reaction. But who's that 5%? And it turns out that are people that have bad allergies, or people that are allergic to some of the ingredients in the vaccine. And after looking into some of those ingredients, I happily wasn't allergic to any of them. But that wasn't enough. Even though I had kept my routine, I looked up some of the probabilities. The other thing that I did do was also have a backup. I took the extra step of getting medicine. So I talked to my doctor. I told her, I'm gonna get this vaccine. Is there something that we can do so I can feel better, so I can relieve my anxiety? And she gave me some extra medicine. Now I had something that would allow me to further alleviate my fears. Lastly, The last thing that I felt was important for me that allowed me to just move forward was that, you know what, no matter what I do, you are never gonna be 100% sure of anything. I understood that even though I have done my research, even though again I had kept my routine, things could still go wrong. So now I should go and execute. And that's just what I did. I woke up, I kept my routine, took the train, just did what I had to do. While I was making the line for the vaccine, a little bit of anxiety came on. When I first got into the place and looked at all of the people getting their vaccination, more anxiety came on. At this point, I already had made my decision. I just had to execute. And I did it. Usually you have to wait 15 minutes. For me, I had a slightly higher risk because I'm allergic to aspirin. I stood around on the waiting area for a little bit, over 30 minutes. And then after that, I was done. I got out of there and all of a sudden I felt the happiness. All of a sudden I felt a lot better about what had transpired. And I started thinking through about the future, about the possibilities. And I think that's the thing that we have to do every day. To conclude, if you are on the fence about anything, whether that is the coronavirus vaccine, if you feel anxious about taking an important step in your life, I recommend you go through a similar thought process. What are the backups or things that you can do in order to have things go in your favor? But, most importantly, what is the upside, right? What are the things that now you're going to be able to do after you take that important step? And I think for me, taking this vaccine, regardless of the very, very amount of risk and what it seemed to be irrational fear after hindsight, I think that just thinking about the upside, being a little bit less careful, I don't know the value of that. I am glad I made this decision. I want to thank you for your time today. And if you like this type of content and you want to see more of it, please hit subscribe, please hit like, and I hope to see you soon. See ya.